In this chapter of the training series, we're going to focus on how we edit pages within our website. And to begin with, we're going to learn about where we find our pages, some best practice when using these pages, and within our pages section, how we know whether a page is live or it's set as a draft. So to edit your pages, you need to navigate from your dashboard area across to the Pages tab. We are then presented with two options, All Pages and Add New. We're going to always select All Pages. We're now taken to a screen which gives us a list view of all of the pages that exist within our website. You will notice that our team will have set up a duplicate page for each of the pages of your website. We can see this as our team has tagged it as duplicate page do not use. This page is also set as a draft. A draft means that it's not currently a live page on your website. The reason for setting a duplicate page for each page of your website is if you make any mistakes on editing your live page, our team can always reset the page to its original state. As you scroll down, depending on the number of pages added to your website, you may have to navigate through the page numbers by using the arrows to view all of the pages that exist on your website. You can also use the Search Pages option here to find a page quickly. To edit a page within your website, you need to find the relevant page and then make sure you click on the live website page. In this example, we're going to have a go at editing the home page. We can see here that we've got Home and Home duplicate page do not use, indicated as a draft. We're therefore going to go ahead and click on the Home option by clicking the header. We're now within the section to edit our home page. The home page is visible here. We know that we're on the home page as we can see that the menu item is highlighted, and we can also see Home in our browser tab. We will also be able to know we're on our home page via the URL or permalink that we see just here. To begin with, we want to focus on the section that we see on the right. This section here indicates the status and visibility of our page. We can currently see that the status is published. By clicking on the edit icon, we can change the status of the page to pending review or draft. In your circumstances, you will always want the pages to be published. We can also see the visibility section. The visibility section gives us the option to hide certain pages to certain users. In your circumstances, the pages will always be set to public. It's important to remember a rule of thumb when editing your pages and the information within your website. That when you make changes within the content management area, this isn't immediately reflected on the live website page. This is why we always need to navigate across to the Update button once we're happy with a change. By clicking Update and refreshing your live website page, you will then see the changes reflected on the live website. We're now going to move on to take a look at how we edit page names and what impact that they have on our live website. Let's navigate across to our live website and take a look at where the page name will be visible. Firstly, the page name is directly related to the URL or the permalink that's visible here. These are how your customers find specific pages when navigating your website. We can also see that the home page name is visible within our browser tab. We can also see that we know as a customer we are on the home page, as the home page menu item is highlighted in a specific color. If we navigate down to the footer of our page, we can also see a footer menu. And we can see here that we have our pages listed within this footer menu. Therefore, by making a change on our page name, this will also be replicated on our front-end website. If we want to change a page name, we simply need to navigate to the Edit section, remove or add the relevant text, and then we need to navigate across to the Update button. Remembering that any change that we make on the Content Manager area won't appear on our front-end website unless we click Update. By navigating back to our live website and refreshing the page, we will now see that the page name has been changed within our Browser tab, has been changed within our menu navigation, and has also been changed within our footer menu. We're now going to move on to take a look at the structure of your website pages and how this relates to the content management area. Let's navigate across to our live website page. Your website page is built within sections. Some of these sections are controlled and edited by you, and some of these sections are set up by our team. On every page of your website, you will have a section at the top featuring your logo, your menu navigations, your social media icons, and your Locker login. This area of your website is controlled and edited by our team. At the bottom of the page, you will see a footer with a logo, your menu navigations, and then 3 sections above this: your partners or sponsors, get the latest news, and social media channels. Once again, these sections are editable by our team. Within each of your pages, you then have sections that you can edit within your content management area. The first section is your sliding banners. The next section is your scrolling bar with call to action buttons that feature within it. In this example, our third section is the lesson options section. Our fourth section, your coaching team. Fifth section, your coaching facilities. Sixth section, what your pupils say. And the last section in this example, frequently asked questions. So how does this look in your content management area? Well, some of these elements are controlled within your pages area, and some exist outside of the pages area. If we go across to our home page in our content management area, the content management area again is built within sections, so you can easily follow which section applies to the section on your website page. The section at the top, Advanced Layer Slider, relates to your scrolling banner. To edit these banners, you edit these outside of the Pages section, and we'll cover this in a later chapter. The next section is our scrolling bar. This is now a good opportunity to introduce how these sections are laid out for you to edit. Every section has an outer section. In this example, if we scroll to the outer section and hold the cursor, we can see some icons. Firstly, the X on the right hand side. By clicking the X, you will delete a whole section. So in this example, if we click the X and we clicked Update, the red scrolling bar would be removed from our page. Moving across, we can then see an arrow. This allows us to show or hide the section. And this won't have an impact on what is visible on our front-end website. It just allows you to increase or condense what you're viewing on the page. On the left-hand side, we can then see 3 icons. Firstly, Edit Section. This allows us to edit the entire section, the color, and the dimensions, and how the section behaves. The next 2 icons, Duplicate or Clone Section, and Save Element as a Template. You will not be using these icons. However, it's important to remember what they do, and crucially, not delete any sections that could cause issues with you making edits to your website. Inside of the outer section is then the column or the cell, which defines the size where the content will exist within each section. In this example, we have one column or cell. Similar as the outer section, we can hover our cursor and we can see the same icons. An X to delete this column, an edit, clone, and save element as a template. Our team will set this up for you, and you won't need to change any of these settings. Inside of the cell or column is then our elements, and the elements are the specific content that you want to showcase. These elements could be buttons, images, text, or media. In this example, we have 3 elements, 3 different buttons that are appearing within our red scrolling bar. By hovering over one of these elements, we can see that we have our X delete element button. By clicking delete, you will remove the button from inside the column. We can edit the button or the element by clicking edit element icon. We can clone or duplicate this or save it as a template. You will mainly be removing these elements or editing them. To edit an element, simply click on the edit icon and then you can make the relevant changes. We will cover these specifically in future chapters. To delete a section or element, you simply click on the delete edit option and then hit the update. If we now refresh our live website page, we will see that this button has been removed from within the section. Finally, you may want to move these elements around within the sections. To do this, you hover over the element, click, and then drag the element and move it to where you want to place it within the section. When we see a green color, this means that we can drop this element in that area. Whenever we see a blue section, it means that we can't drop the element within this section. Let's have a go at moving the Visit Store button to appear first. To do this, we would simply place the element over the top of the area where we want to move the element to and release. We can now see that our Visit Store button is visible at the top. By hitting Update and refreshing the page, we will now see the Visit Store button appearing first. Let's go find a new section and show you how that would relate to text. Let's use this section just here, Your Coaching Facilities. We can see the section on the page represented here. The section is the grey section around the outside, with our header, Your Coaching Facilities. If we hover over the outer section, we could remove this section and it would remove the section entirely, including the content within it. We can show or hide the section, and then we can also edit, clone, or save as a template. Inside this section is our first element, the header, Your Coaching Facilities. Once again, we can edit, clone, save as a template, or remove this section. Underneath this, we then have 2 columns. Column number 1 is half the size within this section. Column number 2 is also half the size within this section. Within these 2, we then have the elements. Element number 1 within section number 1 is the image of our coaching facility and where our facilities exist in a map view. In column number 2, we have two elements. The first is a text element, and the second is a shortcode element, which we'll touch on in a future chapter. Once again, we can remove these elements, edit these elements, or move the elements within the section by hovering over the element itself, click, hold, and drag and place it where we want it to appear. By making this change, we will now see the text appear underneath on our live website. Let's refresh the page, and we will now see the text area move underneath our icons. When navigating through editing your pages, in the main, you will need to get used to how you edit elements within each sections. Our team can make the necessary changes for you and advise you further on changing the sections or columns where necessary. We're now going to move on to take a look at how we can edit text sections within your pages and understand what text you can edit within the pages section itself. Let's navigate down our home page section. As a general rule of thumb, anywhere within this area that you see text, you can make edits to this area. We can see here some call to action buttons, and we can edit the text within these buttons directly within our pages sections. We're going to cover buttons in a later chapter. We can see here a header element within this section, and once again we can edit the text that exists within this element. However, we can see as we scroll down the page a new element known as shortcode. We will see if we navigate to our live website page under the new lesson options that this shortcode text doesn't exist in this form on the page. We can see that this shortcode relates to these three lesson types that are visible within this section. Therefore, whenever you see shortcode on these pages, the content that this shortcode relates to is editable outside of the pages section. Never change the shortcode that you see within a pages section. As we scroll further down, we can see more header sections, and under your coaching facilities, once again we can see a shortcode section and a new text section. We can't edit the shortcode information, however, we can edit the text element that we see just here. Let's have a go at editing the text elements on this page. We're going to go ahead and edit the Your Coaching Team header, visible on our live website page just here. To edit this text element, we simply move the cursor over the top of the element and navigate across to our Edit Element button. We will then be presented with a text block pop-up. At the top we can see content, colors, screen options. To edit the text, we will only ever work within the Content tab. As we scroll down the page, we can then see two sections, Visual and Text. We can edit the content within the Visual section, however, on occasions, you may affect the structure of the text that exists within this section. Therefore, as a general rule of thumb, if ever you want to change text that exists within a text element section, always navigate to the Text tab. You will be presented with something that looks like this. To edit the text, simply navigate your cursor between the two arrows. Let's edit the text that we see between these arrows. Any change that we make, we will also see in the element preview section on the right. If at any point we make a mistake editing this section, by simply navigating your cursor out of the text block section and clicking the screen behind it, we will be taken back to the Pages section, and we can see that the change hasn't been made on the page. Let's go back and edit that text content. Once we've edited the text content and we're happy with the element preview, to make the change in our content management area, we could go ahead and click Save. We can now see that the change is made within the text element section. However, to make this change appear on the live site, we now need to go up to the top of the page and click Update. If we now refresh the page on our live website, we will now see that the header section has changed to meet the coaching team.